Just do it. Do it already. What are you doing? I'm so sorry. Retweeting Colin Rudd. I didn't watch that last night, Carrie, but I wish I did. Colin Allred is. We'll watch some of that. Good. I'll watch some of that, Carrie, because I absolutely love Colin Allred. I'm so excited for him to beat the fuck out of Ted Cruz, like the little whipping boy that he is. And here we are. So sorry I was late. Sorry. The thing is, oh yeah, I'm so late. Wow. So the thing about it is I oh oh I love my daughter. Oh, I love my daughter so much. She's such a good person. Anyway, sorry I got distracted. Um, hey Jay. I know. Well, and the thing is that I woke so I woke up at 4, which is dumb. And then I fell back asleep. And then all of a sudden it was 6:24 and I thought, "Oh well, okay, I'm not going to be on time." So I know I'm not going to be on time. So what are we going to do about this? So I don't know. I was just late. Sometimes we're all late. Anyway. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Carrie was here earlier. She was probably here on time. Jay Rance, I love you so much. Good morning. Neil, good morning, dear. How are you? Oh my goodness. Good. You're not you're not late. You're not. You're definitely not. You're definitely not. Yeah, I'm late. You're not that late at all. You're on time. Anyway, good morning. Okay, so let's think about this. What happened yesterday? Um, oh my God. So I I just want to. We're gonna be laughing at some people this morning, uh, because Carla, you're up early. Oh my God, you made it! Yay! Fix this. Fix my connections. Um, you are up early, ridiculously so. But good morning, happy. What is it? Wednesday? Is it only Wednesday? What the fuck is going on with this week? Hi, GP. How are you, dear? Dear friend. It's so good to see you. Sorry I'm late. I guess I slept in if you think about it. It doesn't feel like sleeping in when you actually like wake up and then go back to sleep because then you feel like, well, I did wake up. I didn't get up, but I did wake up. Anyway. Let's see. So today I want to laugh at a couple of things. Sleeping until 6:30. Well, I usually get up at like 5:45. And then this time I blew right through it. It's the cat's fault. The cat's fucked me over. Because when I woke up at 4, I was like, the cats were snuggling and wanting to snuggle, and so I'm like snuggling with cats, and then I fell back asleep, and I didn't. I guess I didn't. Wow. Okay. I don't know why I keep talking about this, but anyway. Let me see, cause there's some funny clip. Wait, hold on, cause I got a lot of stuff, so I should get into it. I should get into it. Oh, whoops, that's not what I want. Is there a buzzing? Do you guys hear a buzzing? I want to make sure there's not something audible that I can hear. Let's see. Oops. See, that's a little aggressive. That's a little aggressive. I think people are funny. I think people are so funny. I think it's just funny. Let me see what else is going on here. Um, Oh, that's what it was. Oh, shit. The economic forum yesterday? Yeah, the buzzing is Kamala enthusiasm. That's right, bitch. Okay, Colin Allred. First of all, we got to see some of Colin Allred. Colin Allred is one of the most gorgeous human beings on the planet, number one, but that's not why I like him. I mean, I do love him, but I like his politics. Okay, wait, we got to get some clips here. Hold on. We're going to start the morning with a little Colin Allred to warm up your engines. Get your engines running. Hold on. Let me see what I got here. Good morning. Hi, Pepper. Oh my God, your cat wants to be on you and it's interfering with my work. I know. Well, that's the thing too, but just enough to like fuck with you. And then if you do give them attention, then they walk off. Does your cat do that? My cat does that. I want your attention. I want your attention. Oh, never mind. Now that I got it. Whatevs. You're weird. Okay, let me find a good Colin Allred clip. Let me see. Here we go. Oh, that's a whole hour of it. I don't want that. What's our good clips here? There we go. Oops. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on to your love. You got to hold on. That's not. Oh, those are the moderators. I'm not calling all red. Okay. Good morning, gal. How are you? Good morning. Whoops. Look at. I like Sydney standing right there. I'm going back through this article. It's an important one if you haven't read it yet. Probably not. MLive politics. Okay, I will come back to. We're gonna play a little Colin Allred versus Ted Cruz to start our morning off, while I drink a little sip of coffee. Chatting from bed, watching TV, sleeping on my hot pad. Fuck yes. Oren knows how to do this. Oren, it's cold this morning down here in Southern California, isn't it? It's chilly. It's a little chilly. A little chilly. All right. Okay, let's take a look. Whoops, let me move Colin over here. Whoops. Okay, come here. Come here, kitty, kitty. Come here, kitty, kitty. All right. Okay, here we go.
Tonight with two big issues that are personal to Texans. Senator, the first question is for you. Texas has one of the strictest abortion bans in the United States. There's no exception for rape or for incest, as you know. In 2021, you co-sponsored a bill in Congress that included those exceptions. But a year later, when the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, you said that you agree with the Texas law that has zero exceptions. So tonight, the question is, where do you stand on this? And we're asking for your personal opinion as a Texan and as a father.
Well, listen, abortion is an issue that many Texans, many Americans care deeply about. And it's an issue that people of good faith can disagree. People are genuinely and deeply pro-life. People are genuinely and deeply pro-choice. And there are all sorts of positions in between. I agree with the United States Supreme Court that under our Constitution, the way we resolve questions like that, questions on which we have real and genuine disagreements, is at the ballot box, is voting. And that's why the state of the law now is that the legislature in Austin sets the laws in Texas. You wouldn't expect Texas's laws to be the same as California. You wouldn't expect Alabama to be the same as New York. I will say, though, in Texas, on the question of abortion, there are a lot of areas we disagree, but there's also a lot of consensus. In Texas, we overwhelmingly support that parents should be notified and have to consent before their child gets an abortion. In Texas, we overwhelmingly agree that late-term abortions in the 8th and 9th months, that's too extreme. And I'll tell you, in Texas, we overwhelmingly agree that taxpayer money shouldn't pay for abortions. Unfortunately, Congressman Allred's voting record rejects that Texas consensus. He has voted in favor of striking down Texas's law that gives parents the right to be notified and consent. He's voted in favor of striking down Texas's law and legalizing abortion up to and including the 8th and 9th month of pregnancy. That's extreme, and it's not where the people of Texas are.
Senator, that's your time. Congressman, 90 seconds for a response.
Well, listen, it's time to finally tell the truth here. Senator Cruz just looked into a camera and lied to Texans about my position. Let's be very clear. You should look into the camera and speak to Kate Cox, who's watching right now, and explain to her why you said that this law that you said is perfectly reasonable, why she was forced to leave her 2 children behind and flee our state to get the care that she needed. Or look into the camera and talk to Amanda Zarowski, who's watching right now, and explain to her why it's perfectly reasonable that because she had a complication in her pregnancy and was denied care so long that she may never be able to have children of her own. Or to the 26,000 Texas women who've been forced to give birth to their rapist child under this law that you called perfectly reasonable. It's not. This is not freedom. I trust Texas women to make their own healthcare decisions. You know, Allie and I have had 2 baby boys here in Dallas in the last 5 years. You're scared the entire time. You don't know what they're going to say. But I can't imagine if the doctor would come in, said there's a problem with the baby or a problem with Allie, but there's nothing I can do because Ted Cruz thinks he knows better. That's not who we are as Texans. When I'm in the United States Senate, we'll restore a woman's right to choose. We'll make Roe v. Wade the law of the land again. And we'll make these stories of seeing these horrific experiences going on all over our state something of the past. That's my commitment to Texans.
Congressman, thank you. Senator, you did not directly answer the question. I want to ask to you again. Do you support or oppose exceptions for rape or for incest? Again, asking as a Texan and as a father tonight.
So I want to be very clear. If you listen to Congressman Allred's answer, at no point did he make any reference to his own record. He desperately wants to hide from the fact that as a congressman, he voted to strike down Texas's parental notification law.
Cool.
He voted to strike down Texas's parental consent law. He voted to legalize late-term abortions, including the 8th and 9th months. He says he wants to codify Roe versus Wade, but that's not what he voted for. And I'll tell you what, tonight I suspect he's going to run away from his record on a whole lot of issues. We have a website. It's called allredfacts.com. Allredfacts.com. Every time he gives an answer, just click on allredfacts.com, and we'll show you the exact vote he cast. Now, as for what the law should be in Texas, that's a decision that will be made by the state legislature. You know, Congressman Allred is running all sorts of ads saying that I made this decision. I don't serve in the state legislature. I'm not the governor. The folks that make the laws here are the state legislature and the governor. He knows that, but he's trying to deceive the voters of Texas.
I want to jump in here because I think it's too important.
We'll give you 60 seconds.
I want to be very clear to the people of Texas. I support the protections and the restrictions under Roe. But Senator Cruz just called himself pro-life. You're not. You're not pro-life. It's not pro-life to deny women care so long that they can't have children anymore. It's not pro-life to force a victim of rape to carry their rapist's baby. It's not pro-life that our maternal mortality rate has skyrocketed up by 56%. That's not pro-life, Senator. So to every Texas woman at home and to every Texas family watching this, understand that when Ted Cruz says he's pro-life, he doesn't mean yours.
Senator, I want to give you 60 seconds too. I want to ask you again, why is this an issue you want to address about saying whether you support or oppose exceptions like rape or incest?
Jason, I'm curious. Why do you keep asking me that? But yet, hold on a second. I've asked Congressman Allred twice about his voting record and the fact that he voted to strike down Texas's parental notification law and parental consent law.
Right.
You haven't asked him about that.
Really stupid
that is his record. He doesn't deny it. He gives language that is disconnected from the actual voting record he has. And listen, my view, I believe in democracy. If Congressman Allred does not like the decisions that the state legislature has made, if he doesn't like the decisions the governor has made, then he is welcome to run for state legislature or run for governor. But in Congress, neither one of us have a vote. I have not voted to strike down Texas's law. Congressman Allred has. Congressman Allred has voted to tell you, a mother at home, you have no right to know if your daughter's getting an abortion. That's an extreme position. And I can tell you, the overwhelming majority of Texans do not agree with Congressman Allred's extreme position against parental rights, against the rights of a mom and dad to be with their daughter in a horrific and challenging time.
Okay, well, that was great.
Tonight, the race for U.S. Senate in Texas, one of the biggest on your ballot.
I was just, Colin, you're so cute. That was good. All right. Sorry, I'm a little off kilter this morning. Deep dive. Courts started shaping U.S. presidential race. Ooh, I like that. Bloomberg. Let's take a look. I want to take a look at the article you also sent. Hold on. See what that's all about. Oh, let's talk about sheriffs. I am definitely into talking about sheriffs. All right, let's talk about sheriffs, baby. Let's talk about sheriffs, you and me. Okay, Sydney, you're gonna have to move, okay, honey, because you're right in the way of the screen. Oops. Okay, so let's move your dress over here. Whoops. Let's move your dress there, and then let's take your little head. Put your little head on your little body right there. A little sassy frass you got there going on. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Dick and Betsy DeVos. What the hell? God, she is just such a evil bitch. I hope Colin Allred fucking defeats the fuck out of him. Did I hear? No, I didn't. Oh gosh. Wait, let me go back to that. I'm so sorry. I'm a little bit of a I'm clearly not very good at this, but hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Colin Allred J6. Oops. I should really just go to the fucking. I should go to Twitter. Because, what, Carrie, aren't you the person who shared a bunch of stuff? You shared. You said you shared a bunch of stuff. All right, hold on. Oh my god. Ba, 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 ba. La 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 la. Oh, here we go. Okay.
I have to.
All right, hold on. I got it. I got it. Hey, hold on. I got it. I got it right here. Hold on. I got it right here. Hold on. I got it right here. Hold on. Oh my god. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Say, you can't be for the mob on January 6th and for the officers. You can't. And it's not funny because you're a threat to democracy.
Sure.
I was on the House floor when we went through the votes. I remember when you objected to the results in Arizona. Y'all at home might remember where you were on January 6th, what you were doing. I know where I was and I know where he was. I remember when they told us to reach under our seats for these gas masks. I didn't know we had because they had deployed tear gas in the rotunda. The officers locked all the doors. We barred the doors the president walks through to deliver the State of the Union with furniture that we usually use to hold paper. And I texted my wife, Allie, who was 7 months pregnant with our son, Cameron, and at home with our son, Jordan, who wasn't yet 2. Whatever happens, I love you. And I took off my suit jacket, and I was prepared to defend the House floor from the mob. At the same time, after he'd gone around the country lying about the election, after he'd been the architect of the attempt to overthrow that election, when that mob came, Senator Cruz was hiding in a supply closet. And that's okay. I don't want him to get hurt by the mob. I really don't. This election is his accountability. You cannot just be patriotic when your side wins. If for the first time in 250 years, this project of ours, this shared American project, that we did not have a peaceful transfer of power, the folks responsible have to be held accountable. That's why Liz Cheney has endorsed me, has got involved in this campaign, and is saying to Texans everywhere, do not put Ted Cruz back in a position of authority, because he's done it once, he'll do it again.
Ooh, fire. Fire. Anybody want to see a dead body? It's that guy laughing over there at his own demise. It's hilarious. Oh my god. That was really well done. Real well said. Very well said. Really like him. Okay, let me go to. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something. Hold on. I don't want to miss a thing. I don't want to miss anything. I feel like there's a buzz. I need to figure that out. Buzz, 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 buzz. Sorry, I know. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. Well, I guess there really isn't anything I thought there was. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Let's read about the DeVosses. Let's read about the DeVosses. Hey, Peace Love, how are you? Good to see you. And then courts started shaping the U.S. presidential race long before November 5th, yes. Also just released top 10 litigation cases in 20... Oh, this is good. I want to read those, gal, too, because we were talking about that yesterday with um the stuff we watched with McBurney down in Georgia. That people were like, "Huh, I wonder what other challenges to election laws are happening across the country." And I found something on what did I share? Was it just security? No, I think it was something else. But anyway, so there is that would be great. I'd like to look at that. All right, let's read about the DeVosses. There's Make sure you've taken your anti nausea medication because they're about to come at you. No. Oh, come here. Oh, come here. What? Where's the story actually start? I don't get it. Oh, I see. Oh, M Live. Create a free account. Oh, man. What the fuck? Fuck you guys. All right. Information now has to be free. That's it. Oh, my God. All right. Yeah, that. Sure. That. Yep. Sure. That. Yep. Sure. Yep. Take all my data. Take all my data. Please. I love it. I love it. Damn. Corporate America. No, I got it. I got it. I got it. I'm so sorry, gal. I'm so sorry. I got it. I got it. Just took me a minute. All right. This is about I need to rearrange things. I got this big microphone right in my way. I got this big microphone right in my way. All right. Here we go. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Dick and Betsy DeVos have given hundreds of thousands of dollars to a program that promises to bring conservative sheriffs into the fight against the revolutionary left. You know, those radical leftists. The program is called the Sheriff's Fellowship. Oh, that's so pious. It is run by the Claremont Institute. Oh my gosh. What? An ultra-conservative California think tank that devoted itself to creating an intellectual veneer for Donald Trump's presidency and candidacy. Well, it does a lot more than that. I know. Sorry, GP. Bye. Love you very much. Have a good night. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow morning with hopefully better, cheerier content. Okay, so it's the Sheriff's Fellowship. It's run by the Claremont Institute, ultra-conservative California think tank that devoted itself to creating an intellectual veneer. Well, it failed. Okay? It failed. It failed to create that veneer. One big thing that the riots, lockdowns, and electoral disaster of 2020 made clear is that America and our nation's conservative movement needs a countervailing network of uncorrupted law enforcement officials. Oh, wow. That sentence is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Wow. Claremont said that in a 2021 fundraising letter announcing the program. The Dick and Betsy DeVos Foundation gave $200,000 earmarked for the Sheriff's Fellowship that year and another $200,000 the following year. Well, they're just really committed. 2 decades of IRS filings show no donations from the DeVosses to Claremont until 2019. Interesting. Need what? Need it for what? Need what for what? Need what for what? I don't know. I can't remember what I just said. Then their foundation gave nearly $800,000 between 2019 and 2022, the most recent year for which IRS filings are available. What the Sheriff's Fellowship looks like from the outside is an attempt to create, quote, shock troops for Donald Trump's plan to win no matter what, said Jessica Pishko, an attorney and the author of, quote, of The Highest Law in the Land, How the Unchecked Power of Sheriffs Threatens Democracy. Network of uncorrupted law enforcement. It's very hard to read it as anything other than that, given the history of the Claremont Institute and stop steal stuff, she said. Days after the 2020 election, for instance, the editors of a Claremont publication called The American Mind, is that John Yoo? Was that John Yoo? Wrote that Republicans must aggressively investigate and prosecute any and all wrongdoing in the attempt to steal this election, and that swarms of lawyers must push for transparency in all Democratic city machines now churning out votes for Biden. Yes, they really have, Lee, haven't they? You've experienced it up close and personal, I bet. It was John Eastman, a senior fellow at Claremont and founding director of its Center for Constitutional Jurisprudence, who tried to persuade Vice President Mike Pence's attorney that Pence could reject Joe Biden's presidential electors and keep Trump in power. Since Trump left office, some members of Claremont have gamed out strategies for ensuring he doesn't lose again. But Michigan sheriffs who participated in the fellowship program say it was more bookish than insurgent. Quote, a lot of it was about the intentions of the founding fathers, said Oceana County Sheriff Craig Mast, who took part in the program last fall, though there were discussions of the Black Lives Matter movement and Antifa, how the position of sheriff was deliberately empowered and built for the country to be the very often last line of defense on so many different issues. No problem, Lee. Oh, nice. Neither Dick DeVos or Betsy DeVos, the most publicly political members of the billionaire West Michigan family that made a fortune with Amway and other businesses, responded to interview requests through a spokespeople or email. But their support for Claremont and the Sheriff's Fellowship in particular is a puzzling political gesture. Here's why. A sense of crisis. 2 months before the 2016 election, the Claremont Review of Books published an essay by the conservative commentator Michael Anton called The Flight 93 Election. In it, Anton argued that allowing Hillary Clinton to win would be a death knell for conservatism, Russian roulette with a semi-auto. Electing Trump, which he likened to charging the cockpit, like the passengers who wrested control from Flight 93 hijackers on 9/11, at least allowed you to spin the cylinder and take your chances. Trump won, of course, and Claremont's star rose as his dominance over the Republican Party increased. While Claremont doesn't speak with a single voice, the sense of crisis at the core of Anton's argument was a preview of things to come. In the weeks before the 2020 election, Claremont released a report laying out what a closely contested result might look like. It included the possibility that sheriffs in conservative counties might deputize regular citizens into posses to combat post-election lawlessness, and that social media would be ablaze with volunteers from the Proud Boys, 3%ers, and Oath Keepers. I don't know what's wrong with my voice this morning. After Trump lost, Glenn Elmers, a senior fellow at Claremont who has led sessions for the Sheriff's Fellowship, wrote a piece for Claremont saying it has become clear that most people residing in the U.S. are not Americans in any meaningful sense of the term, and calling for all hands on deck as we enter the counter-revolutionary moment. Oh, there she is. There she is. Eric Prince's sister, right? They're sisters, right? Yeah. Let's see. Sister and brother. Betsy DeVos was Trump's Secretary of Education, of course, but she was not on board with a counter-revolution. She resigned her position after the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, writing in a letter to Trump that they should have been celebrating the accomplishments of his administration, but, quote, instead we are left to clean up the mess caused by violent protesters overrunning the U.S. Capitol in an attempt to undermine the people's business. Ooh, even Betsy was bothered by it. Peter Thiel recommended Michael Anton to Bannon, who in turn recommended him to Flynn. Anton said Thiel figured out he was Decius, the Roman consul he chose for his pseudonym. Okay. Publius Decius Mus, the sacrificed himself to inspire his big army. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Okay. I'm coming. Let's see. All right. That's great. Too little, too late. To me, there was a line in the sand she wrote in her 2022 book, Hostages No More. What the fuck? It wasn't about the election results. Was about the values and the image of the United States. It was about public service rising above self. The president had lost sight of that. Oh my God. It it was unclear to me if the president was actually in the mental place to continue to serve as the commander of chief of the most powerful military in the world, she continued. His behavior had grown increasingly erratic and unnerving. What? Well, see, the problem is nobody wanted to read her book. No, it's fine, please, because it's a good day for my brain to just engage with content and present it. Let's see. Wow, this is so weird. Which raises the question of what part Claremont's present work, focused as it is on a Trumpian future, she and her husband have seen fit to support. Claremont does work in many areas, DeVos family spokesman Nick Wassmiller told Rolling Stone for a 2022 article about conservative donors' enthusiastic response to Claremont's efforts to cast doubt on the 2020 election. It would be baseless to assert the foundation's support has any connection to one item you cite. It's a big one, though. It's a big item. Let's see. Got samples of their arguments for sheriff primacy. I don't know. Sounds like a big job. I know that I love it's exciting to get a new kitchen. But the 2020 filing did note that $400,000 had been approved for payment to Claremont in future years, which is the amount later earmarked for the Sheriff's Fellowship. The fellowship itself began the following year. Claremont didn't respond to requests to discuss the Sheriff's Fellowship and where it might fit into the work of the Institute. The basics are clear enough. It's a week-long program that brings small groups of sheriffs to Huntington, California. Wow. The 2023 version included readings from the Founding Fathers and Claremont-affiliated scholars, alongside sessions on, quote, defeating critical race theory and dismantling DEI. How do sheriffs do that? Or how the deep state operates, and the 3 pillars of Trumpism. But looking at the sheriffs chosen for the program also suggests something about its purpose, Pishko said. Many have expressed public doubts about the validity of the 2020 election. Many have publicly refused to enforce laws that they don't believe pass constitutional muster, specifically gun regulations and limitations meant to stem the spread of COVID in the early days of the pandemic. Claremont isn't trying to make converts of those sheriffs, she said, but trying to connect with them, with the sorts who might investigate fake claims of voter fraud. Were built to be the final step. They examined how. Boop, 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 boop. Samples of their arguments. Let me see. I'm going to go through. Well, Claremont isn't. Okay, so they're not trying to make converts. Why else would you pick someone like Dar Leaf, she said. This is Barry County Sheriff Dar Leaf speaks to members of the Michigan Liberty Militia during the American Patriot Rally, Sheriff Speak Out event at Rosa Parks Circle in downtown Grand Rapids on Monday, May 18th, 2020. The crowd is protesting against Gretchen Whitmer's stay-at-home order. Boy, that really got them, didn't it? Leaf, the Barry County Sheriff, took part in the fellowship in 2022. He has spent years investigating the specious notion that voting machines flipped votes from Trump to Biden. The sheriff has used volunteer members of his posse to help with the investigation, he told Michigan Live in a recent MLive, in a recent interview. Boop 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 boop. He is also a board member of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Police Officers Association, which promotes the idea that within their own counties, the sheriff's authority supersedes that of the state or federal government. It is widely considered an extremist organization, to which its founder, Richard Mack, has responded with a line from Claremont founder Harry Jaffa. Extremism in defense of liberty is no vice. Well, you know what is a vice? Raping a child. And that's something, Richard Mack, that your son was convicted of doing. That's right. Leaf didn't respond to a request to discuss the fellowship, but other Michigan sheriffs who have taken part did. They framed it very differently. Mason County Sheriff Kim Cole was a participant in the first Sheriff's Fellowship in 2021. He keeps the copy of the Federalist Papers that he got from Claremont in his office bookshelf. I highlighted many parts of it that I just found fascinating, he said. He says the program left him with a better appreciation of the U.S. Constitution, taught him something about left-wing movement called Antifa, and didn't include anything about sheriffs using their authority to sway an election. Doctrine as related to government founding. I know. That kind of conversation never came up in any of the classes I partook in. So there. Let's see. Livingston County Sheriff Michael Murphy's takeaway from the program, which he attended in 2023, was the argument that founders wanted to impose strict limits on the power of the federal government, but we've gotten to the point now where the feds have got their fingers in everything. It's not your argument, yeah. It was really about how much of a mess we've made out of things as a society versus what the founding fathers' vision was. How does this help a sheriff be a better sheriff? That's what I don't get. Murphy said he thinks Claremont's interest in sheriffs was precisely because their power is local. I don't answer to my county commission. I don't answer to any other elected body. I don't answer to a mayor or anything like that. I answer to the 200,000 people in this county. There he is. There's Livingston. That's Mikey Murphy. Both Murphy and Cole took public stands against the state's lockdown orders in the early days of COVID-19. Cole said on Fox News that he was reluctant to send officers onto private property to see if illegal gatherings were taking place. Murphy said in a video that he had enforced the orders at first, but that Governor Gretchen Whitmer had extended them without the legal right to do so, a position that state Supreme Court ultimately agreed with. Encouraging that sort of defiant independence might be what Claremont is interested in, said David Swartz, a Boston University sociologist and author of The Academic Trumpists. Even readings like the Federalist Papers are very strong on states' rights and implicitly concerned. I'm going to do that. Oops. Oh, no. That's not what I want to do. Implicitly concerned about any kind of centralized authority, he said. Your sheriffs, I think, are hearing this message that kind of reinforces skepticism about large centralized authorities such as the FBI, CIA, and maybe even the U.S. military and certain political leadership. Certainly, political leadership. All 4 of the Michigan sheriffs who participated in the fellowship have campaigned with Trump this year. Murphy hosted the former president in a garage at the Livingston County Sheriff's Office where he, Cole, and Mast all stood behind Trump as he spoke. The event prompted at least 2 complaints of campaign finance violations, which don't appear to have been resolved, according to publicly available records. Leaf appeared with Trump during a campaign stop at Alro Steel in Potterville. Betsy DeVos did tell the Detroit News in August that she would be willing to serve in Trump's administration again, but only if it was with the goal of phasing out the Department of Education, as we tried to do through budgetary process in the first administration. We know. She'd also need a commitment to passing a major education freedom bill in the form of tax credit mechanism for at the Department of the Treasury, she said. An education freedom bill would almost certainly mean school choice vouchers, a cause that Betsy and Dick DeVos have supported for decades. One of the largest recipients of their foundation's largesse has been the American Federation for Children Growth Fund, formerly known as the Alliance for School Choice, where Betsy DeVos once served on the board. But while both Dick DeVos and Betsy DeVos have given substantial donations to candidates who support school choice during this election cycle and reportedly shared a meal with Trump and other mega donors in late September, neither has donated money to Trump's campaign, according to the most recent campaign finance records. Why fund an organization that supports Trump without supporting Trump? There might be an answer in the DeVos' family history of guiding conservative politics. Well, look at that. That's Vice President George H.W. Bush arriving at Kent County International Airport for a campaign fundraising dinner at the Amway Grand Plaza in 1987. In the center is Amway co-founder Richard DeVos with Bush's Michigan campaign co-chairman Elbrook Patterson on the right. Well, there you go. There he is. For decades, members of the family, first Amway founder Richard DeVos and his wife Helen, and then Dick and Betsy, have been at the center of a group of billionaire activists who've reshaped the country and its politics along more conservative lines. The DeVos family and their relations by marriage, the Prince family, have been absolutely foundational in the creation of the political movement of the religious right, said Ann Nelson, the author of Shadow Network, excellent book, Media, Money, and the Secret Hub of the Radical Right. The secret hub in the title of her book is the Council for National Policy, a powerful organization that pairs conservative activists with those with the means and the desire to bankroll their activism. The doers and the donors, as the late Amway founder Richard DeVos Sr. described it. Let me check in with chat. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Wah wah wah. It helps them be a better sheriff of Nottingham. Mind truth, that's funny. of Nottingham. Listening while I walk the doggies. No problem, gal. Remember Teal said he wasn't going to give money. I know. Well, okay. Exactly. And then he has this huge pack, which I did start looking at. It's kind of an interesting pack, actually. But they've donated to Vance. He's their president. Yeah, probably. The money's getting there. It's just getting there in a different way. That's all. And da 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 da. Okay. And he knew. He served 2 stints as CNP's president. The DeVosses have provided the seed funding and supported expansion of key organizations, Nelson said, and this has been ongoing for at least the last 40 years. Those organizations include the Heritage Foundation, the creator of Project 2025, the Federalist Society, which counts at least 5 of the conservative justices on the U.S. Supreme Court as current or former members, and the James Madison Center for Free Speech, the architect of the Supreme Court Citizen United decision, which effectively removed limits from corporate election spending. The roster also includes evangelical Christian organizations such as the James Dobson's Focus on the Family and Family Research Council, which have agitated against same-sex marriage and LGBTQ rights, and Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church, where the Reverend James Kennedy, once himself one of the founders of the modern religious right, urged his followers to, quote, reclaim America for Jesus Christ. MLive reviewed decades worth of tax filings from 7 DeVos family foundations. Over the most recent 10 years for which their public data is available, the extended family has collectively given $839 million to hundreds of organizations in West Michigan and around the country. They've bankrolled churches and Christian outreach, medical research, arts organizations, including one particularly populist art competition, and education from grammar school to graduate school. Let's see, the donations. King's College, Spectrum Health Foundation, George Bush Foundation, Michigan State University, Northwood University, National Constitution Center, Grand Valley State University, Purdue Research Foundation, Leading Educators. I don't know what that is. I need a little sip of coffee. But have they donated to Vance? I don't know. I'm not sure. It wouldn't be hard to find out. Except for the fact if they move money through something else. I don't know. Which is what, like, I think, what's his name? Elon just is basically made like $75 million contribution to his PAC, his own little PAC that's down in Texas. So, I don't know. Who knows? Money, money, money. It's so funny. It's a rich man's world. All right. But the other foundations funded by the second generation DeVos family, the Douglas and Maria DeVos Foundation, the Daniel and Pamela DeVos Foundation, and the CDV5 Foundation funded by Sherry DeVos, don't evince the same level of enthusiasm for building conservative political institutions. The wider family's giving that's involved in issues of public policy is frankly dwarfed by what they're doing in other community types of things, said former Michigan Governor John Engler. I mean, it hardly measures on the scale. Bye, Pepper. I'll see you later. Good luck with your recording. Let's see. Dick and Betsy DeVos have taken up that crusade. particularly as the Richard and Helen DeVos Foundation moved away from explicitly political causes following the deaths of its namesakes and ultimately ceased operations this past May. Rick DeVos, right? Rick DeVos, Dick and Betsy's eldest son and the founder of Art Prize, seems to be carving a similar path. This is the Richard and Helen DeVos largest foundation recipients: a Christian School Association, the Symphony, Calvin College, University, Constitution Center, a church. Yeah, pretty whatever. The Rev Foundation, which he funds with his wife Melissa, has given regular gifts to the Claremont Institute. It has also donated to the Libertas Institute, a Utah think tank that may be the country's only purveyor of libertarian children's television, and American Movement, a J.D. Vance-backed nonprofit that is working to recruit conservatives into entry-level positions in the federal government. Oh my God, that's just like Agenda 47. Well, that's Project 2025 too, to get civil servants, loyal civil servants. Of course they want tyrannical. Well, and this is it, I think it's interesting, and I want to go back to Oomp's question too about how they think. I want to understand it a little better. Arguments for the sheriff's primacy. Oh, right. So what's like the constitutional argument for their primacy? Is that what you're or like kind of legal basis? That because that's interesting. Is it just a loophole? Is that what it is? I mean, I can't imagine. Everybody has a boss. That's the problem. Everybody has a boss. Okay, which he funds with, but maybe in this case it's Trump. Has also donated. Okay, wait. Okay. Hoping to sow the seeds for the next generation of Republican power brokers. I'm telling you, that is what they're doing. And we know this. Everyone in this room, I'm sure, knows this better than I do. But they are really crafting, forming a government in their own image, right? So that I think one of the things that has plagued us right now, exactly. One of the things that's plaguing us now is the fact that we have oh man, I just lost my train of thought. I can't remember. We have forgotten the lessons of first blood. Yeah. All right. Okay, well, I'll come back to it. I'm sure I'll remember. Blah, blah, blah. Let me see. Oh, Claremont includes members of the current generation of Republican power brokers. The New York Times last year called it a nerve center of the American right. Claremont was part of the advisory board for Project 2025. It has been credited with orchestrating the nationwide anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion campaign that is reshaping state laws and school curricula in Republican-dominated states. Let's see. From 2013 to 2022, their donations basically went from 7.1 million, and in 2022 were 8.7 million. Womp womp. Dick and Betsy DeVos's support for the Institute might not be about Trump so much as it's about tapping into one of the power centers in a shifting landscape of conservatism. That's an important sentence. That's an important sentence, I think. I'm going to read it again. Dick and Betsy DeVos's support for the Institute might not be about Trump so much as it's about tapping into one of the power centers in a shifting landscape of conservatism. Hi, easily distracted. For all of the weight Claremont has put behind Trump's candidacy, Swartz said, it was never about the man himself. Despite Trump's temperament, his vindictiveness, his superficiality, he said, they see in Trump a window of opportunity to shake up the system. There you go. Ding, ding, ding. Josh Cohen, a Michigan State University professor of education policy who wrote about the DeVos family giving in his book, The Privateers, How Billionaires Created a Culture War and Sold School Vouchers, suggested another possibility. Dick and Betsy DeVos have both been vocal about the way their Christian faith drives their philanthropy. Even school vouchers, Betsy has said, can advance God's kingdom. The Sheriff's Fellowship isn't the sort of cause their foundation has publicly aligned with in the past, Cowan said, but it would fit with their history of supporting elected officials who hold similarly conservative versions of Christianity. It would be consistent with their overall worldview of there being God's laws and the laws of men. Oh, so it's a divine power. It's a divine power. I see. Okay, let me go back up because Gal shared a lot of really great stuff. Let's see here. I'm going to go here first. This is the Michael Anton. Wait, let me go ahead and I'm going to pull up these other things too. Wait, where's that? I got that one. Okay. And then I got this one. And then I got this one. And then I got this one. Then I got this one. Hillsdale. One notable. Eric Prince. Chud University. Excuse me. Wait. Oh, Betsy Woodruff Swan went there? That's not shocking. Okay, we're going to come back to that too. I just want to line all these up and see what makes the most sense to go that. And then you said that one. And then I went there. And then I did that. And then I did that. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, I recall this tweet. This is from yesterday, right? Yeah, no, 2 days ago. Imagine being the person screaming fire about this almost 3 years ago. All right, so from November 15th, 2021, we have been talking about. I mean, the sheriffs have been talked about for a while. This is November 15th, 2021. This is a glass situation. The Claremont Institute is hosting the Sheriff's Fellows. Like, as I type this, we need a list. Find out if your county sheriff has gone for a conference. Woo. Look at these topics. The Sheriff's Fellow 2021, Saturday, November 13th, November 19th. We're pleased to announce the Sheriff's Fellowship will take place over a week in Orange County. All incoming Sheriff's Fellows will be awarded a $1,500 honorarium, up to $700 in travel costs and lodging for the duration. Most meals will be provided. Wow. That's nice. Oh, that's nice. Here's the topics. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. The statesmanship of George Washington. The political science of the Federalist Papers. The abolition of slavery and equal rights under the Constitution. The statesmanship of Abraham Lincoln. Now, we'll see, all they had to do was take Hillsdale curriculum. I mean, that's making good use of your resources, I think. I don't know. Let's see. The statesmanship, natural rights, and natural law. See, is this part of like natural law where they're the head honcho? Is that what the argument is? It's like a divine appointment kind of thing? I don't know. Progressivism, the New Deal, and the Great Society. Oh, those sound so scary. I don't know. What am I supposed to feel about those? Conservatism and modern liberalism. The Living Constitution. The New Left and the Roots of Radical Leftist Ideology. Whoa. Well, that doesn't sound anything like sheriffing. That sounds like it has nothing to do with how to be a better sheriff. I don't know. I'm going to call bullshit. I'm going to call bullshit. Oh, Tom Klingenstein. He's my favorite.
We find ourselves in a cold civil war, but we have no real generals.
Who wouldn't want to follow this guy?
A war without
Come
generals is no war at all. There is no
I'm telling you, if they weren't authoritarians, they wouldn't get
only
any dates.
death. The death of our once cherished republic. Leading Republicans, who should be our generals, fight battles, sometimes with spirit, but they don't seem to see the war in its entirety, particularly its cultural aspects. This is a war not over the size of government or taxes, but over the American way of life. The war is between those who salute the flag and those who take a knee, those who believe that America is built on freedom, and those who believe America is built on racism. those who are convinced that
you're
America is
offended. I
good,
see.
and those who are convinced America is bad. These differences are too large to bridge. This is what makes
Too
it a
big to
war.
rig.
In this case, a cold civil war. Winning a war requires two fundamental understandings. First, you must understand that you are, in fact, in a war. Wartime requires very different rhetoric, strategy, and people than peacetime. Trump is a wartime leader. Second, you must understand your enemy, what it wants and how it goes about getting what it wants. What our enemy wants is the destruction of the American way of life. It goes about it by trying to force everyone to say, America is systemically racist. If it can convince us of this falsehood, it will be well on its way to overturning the American way of life. Every time Joe Biden accuses America of being systemically racist, he is, though he doesn't know it, calling for the overthrow of the American way of life.
Wait, what? Oh, wait. Whoa. Dude, do you know what you just said there? Is that what you meant to say? So, when Joe Biden says the country is inherently racist, or whatever he said, that means he doesn't want to lose that racist America? Is that what? Yeah, the Crypt Keeper got a wig. He sure did. I love Tom Klingenstein is a fucking dick. Oh my God. Such a dick. Can't even. Hillsdale is all kinds of crazy. It is, yeah. Recruited for his sharpshooting skills. What the fuck? What is going on in Michigan? What the fuck? What is going on? We have a scheming, sneaky Republican overlords buying politicians, election officials. You know, and exactly. And then, yeah, and Democrats still are like, oh, yeah, but they have a duty. They swore a duty. Oh my God. And today's Claremont Institute of Review books, Rejection and Fear. Okay, so this is good. I will include all of these links in the description of the video later on, so you won't miss a thing. You won't be able to avoid them. No. All right, let me see what else she sent. Okay, we did that. What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? What's this? Uh-oh. This is not a good link. That is not going to work. Oops. Maybe it will. Nope, it's not going to. Let me see. Donald Trump shocking election before the Comey letter, before the Billy Bush, a lengthy essay. On September 5th, well, let's read this. It's on September 5th, long before 2016, long before Donald Trump's shocking election victory, before the Comey letter, before the Billy Bush tape, a lengthy essay was published with minimal fanfare on the Claremont Review of Books website. Few outside the solemn world of high conservatism knew its existence. The majority of political reporters glossed over it. But to the readers of the review, the right-wing thought leaders, the talk show hosts, the more erudite Republicans on Capitol Hill, it landed as cacophonously as a jetliner crashing into a Pennsylvania field. The article was written under the nom de plume Publius Dosius Mus, but it was notable less for the anonymity of its author than its terrifying thesis. 2016 is the Flight 93 election. Charge the cockpit or you die, it began. Decius continued. A Hillary Clinton presidency is Russian roulette with a semi-auto. With Trump, at least you can spin the cylinder and take your chances. At least. The opening paragraph descended into an apocalyptic argument for why Trump, a man who gleefully opposed decades of Republican doctrine, needed to be president. In short, only he could prevent the inexorable decline of the American experiment. God, I just, it's so incredible how right everything is. You know. Anton's essay, written under the nom de plume. Okay, we did that. Revisit this reporting from Kath Stewart. And the Claremont Institute, the anti-democracy think tank, it was once mostly traditional conservatives. All right, that's good. Let me see. Oh, that's not going to come up. Darn it. One notable, yeah, Eric Prince. Hillsdale's really trying to reach out to the base of MAGA and educate them on the Constitution. Are you filling out your ballot? I got to fill out mine. David Clark. What has happened to David Clark? He's around. I've seen him. Sometimes he's on the Wake Up America tour or whatever that Flynn thing is. The Flynn Flam tour. I think he's on that. You sent a DM really 100-mile border enforcement zone. What's that? What's the border enforcement zone? But yes, they are in their view. Oh, but not voters. Yeah, exactly. Oomph. I did read that as part that they believe that since they're elected officials, that's who they report to, and that they would. I guess what establishes them as the highest authority in the county, though. You know what I mean? Like where do they? Because other people were elected too. You know, like city council and stuff like that. So why wouldn't they have? Well, I guess that's the point. I don't know. There does seem like why wouldn't the mayor, who's also elected or whatever, the state constitution? Oh, it's only 4 pages this year. Feels short for California. I know. It does. They're always really. These have been definitely the toughest ballots I've filled out. I feel like. And that's saying something. No, I'm just kidding. I gotta smoke some weed. They claim because they only swear an oath to the Constitution and nothing else. That's so weird. June 2022, 60% of the population of the United States just lost any constitutional protections against warrantless assault or home invasion by armed agents. What? Oh my God. I think my hair keeps itching. Postal voting is great. I know. I really like it. I much prefer. You have to. I can't just go in and vote. You have to. It's like I wouldn't even know what the names mean. And it's like I know I would make a mistake. All right, where is first things first? I have to cut this plastic. Where's a cutter? Man. Let's see. I like doing my own research. I like sitting on my own toilet and doing my own research. So there. Hold on, let me go back now. All right. I'm surprised I'm actually like able to read. Let me just make sure. I just want to see what's live right now. Make sure we're not missing anything really good. Don't miss anything really good. What? Are you kidding me? No. You know, no, I'm not going to. Yeah. Toilet research. Yeah. Hell yeah. My toilet's better than yours. Speaking of toilet research, man, there's just so many dumb people in this world. I can't. I'm so surprised that people can function. Skibbity research. Exactly. That's exactly what it is, Max. Oh my God. Skibbity research. It must be, hi Mass says, it must be the state constitution. And I could see them, this kind of emphasis with the sheriff's fellowship and all of that. I could definitely see the emphasis on you're appointed by God, people. You're appointed by God. You get voted in by the people, but God's working his will through those voters. You see what I'm saying? Like, I can make any kind of MAGA argument for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this whole thing that people became so focused on their Christianity, like These people were not always this way. You can't tell me they were always this way. You can't tell me that all these sheriffs were always like, oh, I'm super hyper Christian. Really? I don't know. I just really find it hard to believe. But what do I know? I'm just a girl in the world. It's, the world is a stage, and we are merely players. But be a player that actually thinks critically. That's all I'm asking. There's a Bible quote that basically says that. Romans 13. That's right. Reagan started the faith-based politics. Yep. But I could see that, right? Like a quote. Yeah, Romans 13 is that basically saying, "Hey, you guys, you have our blessing. Go for it." wreak havoc in my name. Wherever 2 or more sheriffs are gathered in my name, wreak havoc. All right, I'm looking to see if there's anything that we're missing that's really good, but it doesn't look like there's anything happening today. Wait, okay. I actually had some stuff, though. Hold on. It says the authorities that exist are appointed. Oh, there you go. Max, thank you. I'm going to tell you. I can't. I was thinking I had something. Nope. Oh my God. Oh, I know what I wanted to watch. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. If you didn't, so Jim Nalgren, if you're here, I apologize for not giving enough credence, or not enough attention. That's the word, not credence. I didn't give enough attention to the fact that you brought up Trump's appearance at the Chicago Economic Forum. Holy shit. Did you guys see that? Did you see that? I mean, I don't know if I have a good clip of it because frankly, wait. It was a massacre. It was a massacre. The journalist who got him just fucking nailed him. Hold on. Oh man, I just want Oh, here we go. This is good. This was a good part. Hold on. All right. This is the Economic Club of Chicago. I don't know who the journalist is. Forgive me. I don't know much about economic journalists. Call me Ethel on Spaces. I know, Carla. And how awesome am I, News? Hey, man, we got plans. We got plans. They're multiplying. Okay, I want to show you this. It's a few minutes, but it's really worth it. This was fucking banana cuckoo crazy.
To help it, but to me it's the most beautiful word in the
tariffs, do you think that will bring in the revenues? To use another bipartisan group, Peterson Institute, they say they only bring in $200 billion. That is that's barely the cost of 2 of your promises.
Yeah, but that's like for what company are you talking about, okay? Look, I've brought in with tariffs, and I was just getting started. Then COVID came, and we had because I tell you what, I did a very good job in COVID. Nobody knew what the hell it was. I call it the China virus because I like being a little more accurate. But when that came, but we got hundreds of billions of dollars just from China alone, and I hadn't even started yet. But tariffs are two things, if you look at it. Number one is for protection of the companies that we have here and the new companies that will move in, because we're going to have thousands of companies coming into this country. We're going to grow it like it's never grown before. And we're going to protect them when they come in, because we're not going to have somebody undercut them. And I could give you an example of this if you want. Would you like me to? Because it just
Give me a quick example, then I will come back.
I just found out about it. So I've been talking about for the last year about Detroit and how horribly it has been. It's just horrible, because we've been talking about Detroit's coming back for 40 years and it's never come back. And it's very dependent on the car industry. Well, they've lost 60% of the business over a long period of time. And what happened is I found out friend of mine builds auto plants. That's all he does. He builds auto plants. That's what he's good at. He doesn't want to build an apartment. All he wants to build is, and he builds the biggest in the world. And for the last year and a half, if anybody's heard me speak, I was talking about Mexico as a tremendous challenge for us right now. Tremendous. China is building massive auto plants in Mexico. And they're going to build them, and they're going to take those cars and sell them into the United States. They're very near the border. And they're going to have all the advantages and none of the disadvantages. And that's going to be the end of Michigan. It's going to be the end of, frankly, South Carolina. Going to be the end of everything. So I've been talking about this, and I said to him about 9 months ago, I said, you know what? I want you to do me a favor, John. His name is John. I don't want to give his last name because he might not like it. But I said, I want to see an auto plant. I want to go and see one of these. You know, you press a button and everything works, right? I want to see one of the big ones. He said, all right, good. I said, where do we go? I'd like to go to Michigan. I'd like to go to someplace in the United States. He said, no, we can't do that. Why? We're not building anything big in the United States. That's not where we don't build the big ones here. I said, where are you building the biggest ones? He said, in Mexico. We're building giant plants, the biggest plants anywhere in the world. In Mexico, I said, so you mean they're going to make cars cheaply? They have advantages over labor and other things, and they're going to sell them into the United States, and they're going to put Michigan out of business. Is that what? I don't know anything about that. All I do is build the plants. If you want to see a plant, we'll go to Mexico. I'll show you the biggest plant.
So he's basically saying, I'm going to make Americans buy a really expensive... Oh, sorry. I'm going to make Americans buy a really expensive car because I don't want anything made here, because I don't want to raise anybody's wages, because that will cut into the profits. So don't raise wages, but compete with countries who have far different slave wages, really. Wait, what? I mean, I'm just always shocked that his voters or his people, the people that talk about him, I watch Chuds talk about him once in a while, and it's amazing to me that they don't understand or ask the most basic question. Like, what about wages? Why are products made here more expensive? Why are products made in this country more expensive? Why? Well, we know the answer why, but there's no thought process. He says tariffs as if it's some kind of magic panacea, but it opens up a whole other host of issues that will impact them. It's so funny to me that the people who actually pretend like they have a working brain still expect people to buy this bullshit. That's what's so interesting to me. Lee is our trade guru. We build lots of cars in Mexico right now to take advantage of the USMCA, which was his big deal, right? Like, he's the one. Yeah, and low-cost labor. Your Dodge Ram pickup is built in Mexico. If you've kept your capacity for shock in the fact that... I know, right? I don't have any shock left. Not that he would answer. Yeah, I know. When the host said, oh, yeah, that was really good. Oh, he did get mad. No, this whole thing is really worth watching. It's about an hour, but I'll try and find that one, too, because that was a good one.
In the world. That was 9 months ago. I saw him, and I talked about it all the time, because I think it's a serious threat to our country, because not only autos, but other things. So then I see him 2 days ago. I was talking at another club, very nice club, and like this, except, I don't know, I think you people are probably even wealthier, okay? This was in Detroit, okay, which was appropriate. And I was showing them all sorts of charts about how their car, it's just gone down, it's like terrible. And I saw him, and I said, oh, how are you doing? How have you been? I said, could I ask you, how are those plants that you mentioned, those giant plants that you're building in Mexico, how is that coming along? Have you finished them? No, sir. They abandoned the project when they heard you're running. They abandoned the project when they saw that you were winning and doing well. I said, wow.
All the same.
Because I told them, and I said it publicly, they're not going to sell one car into the United States. I said, if I run this country, if I'm going to be president of this country, I'm going to put a 100, 200, 2,000% tariff. They're not going to sell one car into the United States because we're not going to destroy our country because I know you're an anti-tariff guy, but I'm the exact opposite. If I had, there was no other way I could have stopped them other than, what am I going to do, negotiate with Mexico or China? You're not going to get anything from that. I said I'm going to put a 100, 200, or 300. I'm going to put the highest tariff in history, meaning I'm going to stop them from ever selling a car into the United States. So I just see the guy by accident. I see him. He says, sir, they've abandoned and by the way, they built foundations. They were really rocking. They were going to do it. They thought that I was going to win, or maybe they're just holding off. I tell you this, if I don't win, those factories are going to wipe out this country. They're the biggest factories ever built for cars. They're going to wipe out our country. If she wins, and she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. If she wins, she's not going to be thinking about, I couldn't, every speech I made having to do with cars, but every speech I made having to do with tariffs, I'd mentioned that our country is being threatened by Mexico. Now, all of those things, beyond even the car companies, all of those things are now dead. They're dead. I asked him, will they start? Probably not. They're dead as a doornail. If she gets in, it'll start up again.
President Trump, I'll let you give your example.
No,
you talked a lot about tariffs. You look at the American economy, 40 million jobs rely on trade. It accounts for 27% of GDP.
Okay.
If you cut that off, that's also going to have an effect on many, many business people here.
Yeah.
Tariffs also have another side. Isn't that something that you have to acknowledge?
No.
You could be plunging America into the biggest trade war since Smoot-Hawley.
But there are no tariffs.
You're going to stop. There are tariffs already at the moment.
There are no tariffs. All you have to do is build your plant in the United States, and you don't have any tariffs.
People, a lot of places like this, there are a lot of jobs that rely on foreigners coming here. You're going to basically stop trade with China. You're talking about 60% trade on that, 60% tariffs on that. You're talking, as you said, 100, 200% on things you don't really like. You're also talking about 10, 20% tariffs on the rest of the world. That is going to have a serious effect on the overall economy. And yes, you're going to find some people who will gain from individual tariffs. The overall effect could be massive.
I agree it's going to have a massive effect, positive effect. It's going to be a positive, not a negative.
Well,
let me just tell you. Let me tell you. I know how committed you are to this, and it must be hard for you to, spend 25 years talking about tariffs as being negative, and then have somebody explain to you that you're totally wrong. It'll have a negative. It will have. I'll go a step further. If you don't do this, this country has no chance.
40 million jobs is a lot of jobs to rely on.
They're all coming back. You've lost
jobs. Those are 40 million jobs in America that rely on trade.
Are you ready? John Deere, great company. They announced about a year ago they're going to build big plants outside of the United States, right? They're going to build.
All right, well, that's enough. The other piece that he does that was hilarious was he talked about, oh, shoot. I can't remember now. Oh, there was another piece. It was where the guy totally schooled him. Shoot, hold on. You are totally wrong. Let me see. God, everybody has the full interview. Wow, Sky News Australia is really terrible. I'm going to tell you right now. They're really they're fucking terrible. I know it's Rupert Murdoch, but. Okay, here's a little more.
The former president and Republican nominee Donald Trump visiting Chicago today, defending his economic plans.
And John, away from questions on what may happen if he loses the November election.
3 weeks to go to the election. Will you commit now to respecting and encouraging a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, you had a peaceful transfer of power.
You had a peaceful transfer of power. You had a peaceful. Come on, President Trump. You had a peaceful transfer of power compared with Venezuela, but it was by far the worst transfer of power for a long time.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The former president never answered the question, but said on January 6, 2020, while prosecutors demonstrated against, or protesters, I should say, demonstrated against the election results, they were perfectly behaved.
Dane Placco sat in on today's interview. He is joining us live now with what was discussed. Dane?
Yeah, about 300 people gathered in a ballroom here at the Fairmont Hotel over the lunch hour to hear from the former and perhaps future U.S. president. And as one observer told me,
well, you're dumb, so you're dumb. Oh, my God. Those autos being built in Mexico were due to his USMCA, right? Exactly. Or was due to his, not theirs was NAFTA, yeah. I mean, it's just so dumb. And that's why, like, I'm still kind of incredulous. This is not a choice, this election. And, I hear stupid people being even more stupid about that. And then I question why people have platforms to say stupid things. Oh, my God. So many silly people. Yeah, what is he going to do about the FART Act? Damn it. Fair and reciprocal trade. I love that. The FART Act. I think that's great. Oh, wait, okay, so I do have a lot more. Don't go anywhere. I'm just a little slow this morning, okay? Just hang in there with me, please. But I promise you, I do have good stuff. Let's see. Oh, today at 11 a.m. Pacific, etc. We're going to be watching a Zoom on the future of European energy. It's a Helsinki Commission presentation, hearing, I guess you'd call it. That would be good. I've got some other things here. Hold on. Let me just see. Oh, this is just stuff I've been bookmarking. So let me just go through some bookmarks. All right. So this one, see, there's the dress I got for Sydney. See, it's coming up. I could put her in something like this. Okay. So, be thankful. That's what I say. I don't know what I found this. Okay. The Trump-backed. Oh, so this is this is crypto shit. Trump touted crypto website crashes as token sale goes live with just 1.7% of targets sold. I'm sorry. I'm trying to multitask. European energy. I know. Hot topic. I'm now like into hearing about things about energy because I don't know enough about that world or how that market works, how the influences work. So I'm grateful to hear about that. All right. The Trump family backed World Liberty Financial's token sale went live. The token sale suffered numerous outages shortly after going live. And as of 3/41, whatever, some 344 million tokens had been sold to around 3,000 unique wallets. Still, the amount represented just 1.7%, less than 2% of the 20 billion tokens. 20 billion. Is that how much an offering normally is of a token? I don't know much about the crypto market, but anyway, okay. WLFI serves as governance token for the platform, enabling users to participate in decentralized finance activities like borrowing, lending, and creating liquidity pools. This all sounds very frightening. Republican Donald Trump holds the role of chief crypto advocate with his sons Eric and Donald Jr. as Web3 ambassadors and Barron as the DeFi, decentralized finance, visionary, highlighting the family's deep involvement with the project. Oh, I bet it's super deep, balls deep. A new crypto project promoted by U.S. Republican presidential and his family got off to a bumpy start on Tuesday as the website crashed and sales of new digital token fall far short of the $300 million fundraising target during the first few hours. He's lost the crypto bros. The public token for this token sale for the crypto project World Liberty Financial appeared to go live around 12:40, and almost 2,900 investors bought the token despite the site suffering numerous outages during its first hour. Blockchain data shows that about 344 million of the platform's tokens were sold in the first hour to around 3,000, but that amount still represented less than 2%. Well, you guys really repeat yourselves a lot. Sandy Peng, a WLFI advisor and co-founder of the Scroll blockchain network, attributed the website outages to excessive traffic. The team wasn't expecting this level of interest, said Pang, whose Scroll network is set to host World Liberty Financial's blockchain application. It's a hot topic. You know what? Actually, I'm being serious. It is a hot topic because it just drives so much of the geopolitics. So it's really important to be aware of what's happening in energy, especially around Europe and what it presents with Russia and all that stuff. So according to Pang, received, which serves as the World Liberty Financial website, which serves as the official portal to the token sale. I can't read all those letters. Received 72 million unique visits in its first hour. The site fell offline due to excessive traffic, but has come back online intermittently, apparently having switched to a new web hosting service. Well, that's not a disaster. Token sales have appeared to ramp up around 5:30 in the evening when the website came back online for about an hour. Okay, blah, blah, blah. All right, I just want to know how much of it has been sold. According to project officials, the token will be used to govern the World Liberty Finance platform, which is designed to let users engage in borrowing, lending, and other DeFi activities. The token, which will be non-transferable for the time being, will give users a vote in matters such as protocol upgrades, technical changes, promotional partnerships, and oversight of security risks. Oh, weird. And the SHART Act, saving humanity and reciprocal trade. Carla. Trump is described in materials for the project as World Liberty Financial's chief crypto advocate. And blah, 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 blah. Okay. Wow, you guys just repeat yourselves. 20 billion tokens were allocated to the public sale, offered at a fixed price of 1.5 cents each, amounting to a fundraising goal, blah, blah, blah. The overall supply of the tokens, including those not available through the public sale, is $100 billion. $100 billion. The token sale is restricted exclusively. Wait, what? The WLFI token sale is restricted exclusively to non-U.S. persons and accredited U.S. investors. Top officials behind World Liberty Financial disclosed Monday that the project had whitelisted over 100,000 accredited U.S. investors ahead of the token launch. The U.S. restrictions are designed to protect WLF from violating U.S. securities regulations. What? What? In the U.S., an accredited investor is authorized by the SEC to invest in unregistered securities such as pre-IPO shares. They must meet specific income and net worth criteria such as $200,000 in annual earnings and total assets over $1 million. What is World Liberty Finance and WLFI? A gold paper about the token released Tuesday morning shed more details on WLFI, including its distribution and exact role in the platform. WLFI is described as a unified platform where users can borrow and lend cryptocurrencies, create liquidity pools, and transact with stablecoins. The token will allow holders to propose future changes to the platform. However, all WLFI tokens will be non-transferable, meaning they will be locked indefinitely in a wallet or smart contract and impossible to trade unless the rules are modified in the future. Oh my God. All governance decisions will be in line with U.S. regulations. Well, why? Because you found the loophole. What the fuck do you care about U.S. regulations? Well, get ready, kids, because in about 6 to 9 months, you're probably going to see some of these names at a congressional hearing. Okay, so why don't you just put a pin in it? Because we're going to probably come back to this. WTF strongly believes in supporting U.S. dollar-based stablecoins and DeFi applications that seek to preserve the U.S. dollar status. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that's what you're all about. Ensuring it remains the global reserve currency for the next century without compromising the freedoms that decentralized assets provide. An excerpt from the gold paper reads, "A key part of our mission at World Liberty Financial is to leverage the global reach and recognition of the Trump brand to bring as many Web 2 users into the world of Web 3 as possible," it added. Let's see. I want to see. Oh wait, can I see it now? Do they have a snapshot of it? No, those are just that. Okay. No. Okay. Fine. Well, anyway, that's from the crypto corner. That's your crypto corner. Okay, let's see what else. It's Corey Lewandowski. We read that. No. Oh, I was looking at the America PAC. I was looking at the America PAC yesterday. This is Elon Musk's America PAC. Safe cities. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. Look at this. Wow. Look at this website. Wait a minute. Oh, forget it. I'm not even going to bother. But anyway, this is the America PAC. I was looking at who funds it. And I also happened to be looking at the Constitutional Sheriff's Movement because I was curious about learning about that too. So maybe I'll end on one of those bookmarks. This is an American Oversight article investigation from 2023. Let's see. And then let me make sure I'm not missing anything. He wanted to fire. I'm right. I remember that, Max. He wanted to fire missiles into Mexico, and they wouldn't know who did it. What? Let's just take a look. Let's take a look. See at this. The Constitutional Sheriff's Movement, a fringe theory that holds sheriffs have more law enforcement power in their home counties than any other government body or individual, has risen in influence over the past decade. Adherents believe that county sheriffs are the ultimate authority in determining constitutionality. I'm gonna stuff that joint in a minute. I want to read this. Including on matters of election administration. In recent years, the movement has brought its work to the election denial space, with many constitutional sheriffs running for office on promises not to enforce certain laws and others working as self-appointed election police in 2020 and 2022. Election deniers have encouraged constitutional sheriffs to monitor elections and launch investigations in efforts to further undermine faith in the security of voting. The movement's most prominent group is the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, which was founded by former Sheriff Richard Mack, whose son raped a child, convicted. The organization claims on its website that the Constitution makes it clear that the power of the sheriff even supersedes the powers of the president, a theory that legal scholars say has no grounding in law. Before founding CSPOA, Richard Mack was a longtime board member of the Oath Keepers, alongside founder Stuart Rhodes, who in late 2022 was convicted of seditious conspiracy for his role in the January 6 insurrection. In 2022, Mack stepped down as CEO of CSPOA, and Sam Bushman, a far-right podcaster, assumed the role. One member of CSPOA who was involved in efforts to undermine the 2020 election was Sheriff Christopher Schmaling of Racine County. Oh, I remember this very, very, very well. I think I have clips of this, actually. His little news conference. In 2021, Schmaling recommended charging 5 members of the bipartisan Wisconsin Elections Commission with misconduct and fraud for measures they took to facilitate coronavirus safety protocols for voters living in nursing homes. A year later, Schmaling did not investigate or recommend charges against a resident who illegally requested multiple absentee ballots to prove election fraud is possible, instead blaming the state's top election officials. In May 2022, CSPOA said it was encouraging its members to launch investigations into the 2020 election in their own states. Sheriff Dar Leaf of Barry County, Michigan, began investigating alleged voter fraud after the 2020 election, with other inquiries opened by sheriffs in Arizona, Kansas, and Wisconsin. At CSPOA's annual meeting that summer, it announced that it had teamed up with voter fraud alarmist group True the Vote. 2,000 mules, 2,000 fools, whose founder, Catherine Engelbrecht, was jailed later that fall for refusing to comply with a court order in a case challenging True the Vote's claims about an election software company. to investigate claims of 2020 voter fraud and to police future elections. I'm going to tell you right now, it's the same fucking people. So yeah, some arrests might actually help. Justice. American Oversight has submitted public records requests in more than a dozen states to the offices of sheriffs, including Schmaling and Leaf, seeking communications with specific election conspiracy theorists and activists such as Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, Arizona Rep. Fightin' Mark Fincham, MyPillow CEO and carpet farmer Mike Lindell, the Constitutional Sheriff's Group Protect America Now, and Engelbrecht, and probably her little partner, Phil. We also requested any communications Schmaling may have had in connection with the Wisconsin Assembly's partisan review of the 2020 election. In September 2022, Leaf responded to our request for communications, confirming that such records of communication with True the Vote existed, but withheld them under an exemption in the state's public records law for records related to law enforcement proceedings. American Oversight sued for the release of the records, arguing that those communications did not constitute legitimate law enforcement work, given the lack of any credible evidence of widespread voter fraud and the misinformation propagated by True the Vote. Leaf's attempts to shield his communications, American Oversight said, was an abuse of his position that subverts the public's right to know how the government is spending taxpayer resources. In January 2023, and in response to our litigation, Leaf's office released a partial response to our records request. The released records include communications with Engelbrecht and additional constitutional sheriffs, as well as, oh boy, Mr. I like to put on my thunder vest when I'm naked, Seth Keshel, a former Army intelligence officer who has claimed that the 2020 election was illegitimate at dozens of election denial events across the country. I have sex that he sent to another woman outside of his marriage because some other woman sent them to me back in 2022. Yeah. So I know all about Seth Keshel. Let's see. American Oversight has also requested records, as we were reading this morning, related to the participation of certain sheriffs at Claremont Institute's 2022 Sheriff's Fellowship, a week-long meeting of constitutional sheriffs in Huntington Beach that focused on conservatism, the Constitution, and the roots of radical leftist ideology. We'll update this page as findings become available. Interesting. Well, that's something to watch. How would a county sheriff assess legitimacy of election? Well, the way that the Racine guy did it was he basically said that that activists like Zuck Bucks had been spent to get people to go into nursing homes and convince people to vote for Biden. And that was the election fraud that he was investigating. So that's how he did it. He announced an investigation into potential election fraud. That's what he did. I mean, if you're asking me how intellectually he assesses it, I have no idea. There's no intellectual to it. He doesn't understand how grants work. Yeah. Anyway. Dumb. It's so dumb. People are so dumb. All right, let me see what else I've got, because I might have some good stuff. You never know. What's that? I want to... CNN obtains audio recording of... when was this? January 2nd, 2022. Wait, do we have it? Is it here? Oh, yeah. Michonne Maddock described... No, I won't do that. Let's see. What was... Oh, wait. Is this... Oh, this is the Mike Lindell deposition. That's a reader. I wanted to see if there was a... Sorry. Chaos comes canceling upcoming. Okay. All right. I know. I was looking at Corey Lewandowski too. Corey Lewandowski just got fired. Corey Lewandowski got fired. He got put in charge of New Hampshire. Yep. Because these text messages came out. I'll show you. Let me show you. Wait. Oh yeah, here they are. So, this is Corey Lewandowski got in trouble because text messages with a bunch of him and dudes were released. I'm gonna show you this because he's such a fucking idiot. All right, wait. I thought this was later. Corey Lewandowski. Meow. Damn, I'm good looking. Bob Padgachek. Meow. Charles Jones. Time for the Houston we have a problem call. Corey. So weak. Charles, we did you a favor. Yes, it is. Corey. I don't need a favor. I need someone who can hang. Corey. I'll call Dave D. Bob. There it is. Matt. You guys can go fuck Bob's cousin. Charles. He's still in town. Don't hurt him. Bob. She is in Columbus. Corey, I'll find her. Corey, ask Mike for the pic. Matt Evans, here she is. And there's a picture of a woman. Boom, God bless America, Corey says. Charles, we are detouring to Vegas. Corey, bitches. Or Berthas. So that's about him getting a boot. And there he is. Oh, actually, I have him too. Hold on. Because I made a little sticker out of him. Where'd I put him? Oh, I don't know if I added him yet. Maybe I didn't add him. Let me see. Corey. Because I made a stick figure out of him too. Where is it? Corey, where are you? Wait, it's here, I think. Oh, yeah, here it is. Wait, I'll fix it. Hi, Corey. Hi, how you doing? He is not good looking, okay? Can we just say that? He is not good looking. There's no, I'm not much for looks. I don't really care what people look like. I would not fuck him with someone else's dick. I cannot. He's just so wormy. He's so wormy. It's unfuckable. 100% unfuckable. And he's stuck on the beach with no cell service. Fuck, man. There, we're going to put him way back. We're going to put him way back in the distance. He's going to be like out here on the horizon. He's going to be on top of this mountain. No, wait, the fake leather daddy pic. You mean the one of Roger Stone or him? Is there one of him too? Oh my God. I only knew about the Roger Stone one. Oh man. Okay, let me see. I got a couple more things I want to do here. I'm trying to do something. Let's see. Oh, we got some updates. Here, hold on. We got some updates. We got chills. They're multiplying. Hold on. Where am I? Oh, there I am. Stop. Okay. The Kesho pillow crotch. Oh, yeah. Actually, let me find those. Let me find those pictures. Let me find those pictures of Seth Keshel's crotch. The veiny hands. Oh, of Cash. That, yeah, too bad that was fake. It really looked like him. It really looked like him. I think I might have labeled it dick pics, but I don't know. I'll have to find those and put them up. I feel like one of these days Seth Keshel's going to be like, why are you putting my private text messages up? But I feel like they're not private because they were on Telegram first. I didn't do it. Salty Lulu. Go talk to Salty Lulu. That bitch did it. She sent them to me. I have no idea who the fuck anybody is. I don't know anything. Okay. Oh my God. That's too much. Okay, hold on. Oops. All right, let me make this a little easier to read. Oh, it's too funny. God, it really is buzzy. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, so sorry, this is just so very. Oh, I can. Okay. All right. So Teresa, beautiful Teresa, my breaking news, the breaking news girl. She breaks news like glass. All right. So from Adam Klasfeld about half an hour ago, special counsel Jack Smith skewers Trump's arguments, seeking to dismiss his obstruction counts following SCOTUS's ruling in Fisher. That decision expressly held the statute could apply to using false evidence to obstruct the certification. Oh, we're reading this. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. We love ourselves some Jack. It's a good way. It's a good way to end the show today. All right, let's talk about Jack, baby. Let's talk about you and me and talk about all the good things and the bad things that may be. Okay, here we go. U.S. v. Donald Trump. Donald Trump. Government's response in opposition to the defendant's supplement to his motion to dismiss on statutory grounds. The defendant's new arguments in his supplemental brief fail to bolster his case for dismissal. He principally argues that the Supreme Court's decision in Fisher v. United States undermines counts 2 and 3 of the superseding indictment, which charged the defendant with conspiring, obstructing, and attempting to obstruct the congressional proceeding on January 6 in violation of 18 U.S. Code sections 1512C2 and K. But Fisher did not invalidate Section 1512 or elevate basic pleading requirements, and the defendant fails to identify any pleading flaw in the superseding indictment warranting its dismissal. Moreover, the defendant's motion ignores entirely that the case against him includes allegations that he and his co-conspirators sought to create and use false evidence, fraudulent electoral certificates, as a means of obstructing the certification proceeding, which Fisher expressly held falls within Section 1512C2. Finally, the defendant's half-hearted arguments against counts 1, conspiracy to defraud the United States, and 4, conspiracy to violate civil rights, likewise lack merit. The defendant's statutory motion to dismiss as supplemented should be denied. Background. Before the litigation of this case was suspended by the defendant's interlocutory appeal of this court's original presidential immunity decision, the defendant moved to dismiss the indictment on statutory grounds. During the period of the interlocutory appeal, while the defendant's statutory motion remained pending, the Supreme Court decided Fisher v. United States, in which the defendant in that case was charged with violating Section 1512C2 based on his participation in the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6. The Supreme Court held that Section 1512C2 only applies only when a defendant impairs or attempts to impair the integrity or availability for use in an official proceeding of records, documents, objects, or other things used in the proceeding. In language that applies directly to the allegations here, the Supreme Court explains that 1512C2's criminal prohibition includes creating false evidence. A federal grand jury subsequently returned a superseding indictment in this case that charged the defendant with the same offenses as the original indictment, including allegations that the defendant's obstruction included the creation of false evidence, namely fraudulent electoral certificates. The defendant supplemented his statutory dismissal motion, raising new arguments under Fisher. Argument. The superseding indictment sufficiently alleges conspiracy and substantive offenses under 18 U.S. Code 1512. The Fisher decision clarified the scope of an obstruction offense under Section 1512C2, but did not strike down the statute or rewrite it. The superseding indictment recites the statutory language and provides ample notice to the defendant of the obstruction charges against him, which is all that is required to defeat a motion to dismiss. See U.S. v. Williamson. Parodying the language of a federal criminal statute is often sufficient. Quoting U.S. v. Resendez-Ponce, Any further assessment of the government's proof and whether it satisfies Fisher's strictures should be reserved for trial under appropriate jury instructions. See U.S. v. Haldeman. Indictment need not inform a defendant as to every means by which the prosecution hopes to prove that the crime was committed. See also Fisher, Jackson concurring, and it might well be that Fisher's conduct as alleged here involved the impairment or the attempted impairment of the availability of integrity of things used during the January 6 proceeding. Beyond that critical flaw, the defendant's supplement ignores entirely that the superseding indictment includes allegations that involve the creation of false evidence. As construed by Fisher, Section 1512CL covers impairment of records, or C1, I'm so sorry, covers impairment of records, documents, or objects by altering, destroying, mutilating, or concealing them. And Section 1512C2 covers the impairment or attempted impairment of records, documents, and objects by other means, such as creating false evidence. In Reich, for example, which was a 2007 case, the defendant was convicted under Section 1512C2 after he forged a court order and sent it to an opposing party, intending to cause, and in fact causing, that party to withdraw a mandamus position then pending before an appellate court. Just as the defendant in Reich violated Section 1512C2 by injecting a false order into ongoing litigation to which he was a party, the superseding indictment alleges that the defendant and his co-conspirators created fraudulent electoral certificates that they intended to introduce into the congressional proceeding on January 6 to certify the results of the 2020 presidential election. As set forth in the superseding indictment, the defendant and others began in early December 2020 to cause individuals to serve as the defendant's purported electors in several targeted states with the intent that those individuals, quote, make and send to the vice president and Congress false certifications that they were legitimate electors. Those wide-ranging efforts encompass 7 states, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, New Mexico, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, and evolved over time from a legal strategy to preserve an alternate slate of electors in the event that the defendant's litigation challenges to election results succeeded, into a corrupt plan to subvert the federal government function by stopping Biden electors' votes from being counted and certified. Ultimately, the defendant sought to certify illegal votes through fraudulent elector certificates that were mailed to the President of the Senate, the Archivist of the United States, and others in connection with the January 6 proceeding to certify the 2020 presidential election results. The superseding indictment also alleges that as part of his efforts to enlist the vice president in the defendant's scheme to introduce fraudulent certificates into the proceeding, the defendant sought on January 4th to persuade the vice president that the fraudulent certificates from those 7 states empowered him to either unilaterally reject the legitimate electors from those states or to send the question of which slate was legitimate to those state legislatures. As part of that plan, the superseding indictment alleges an agent for the defendant attempted on the morning of January 6 to hand-deliver to the vice president for use in the certification proceeding through a United States Senator, Ron Johnson. Fun fact. Fraudulent electoral certificates. Contrary to the defendant's claim that Contrary to the defendant's claim that he bears no factual or legal responsibility for the events on January 6, the superseding indictment plainly alleges that the defendant willfully caused his supporters to attempt to obstruct the proceeding by summoning them to Washington, D.C., and then directing them to march to the Capitol to pressure the vice president and legislators to reject the legitimate certificates and instead rely on the fraudulent electoral certificates. Under 18 U.S. Code 2B, a defendant is criminally liable when he willfully causes an act to be done which, if directly performed by him or another, would be a federal offense. C.U.S. v. Shaw, upholding conviction for willfully causing a violation of 18 U.S. Code 1001. The defendant's counter-arguments on counts 2 and 3 fail. None of the defendant's counter-arguments support his dismissal motion. First, the defendant asserts that the conduct underlying several allegations in the superseding indictment is shielded by immunity, suggesting improper reliance on the superseding indictment on conversations between the defendant and his advisors that are, quote, subject to presidential immunity, arguing that the defendant's interactions with state officials are, quote, also subject to immunity, Those immunity-based claims, while deeply flawed, are irrelevant to his statutory challenge to Section 1512C2 and must await, as defendant ultimately acknowledges, his, quote, forthcoming immunity submission. Second, focusing primarily on the government's response in opposition under then binding. Goddamn, sorry. I can't read. Second, focusing primarily on the government's response in opposition under then binding circuit precedent, the defendant contends that some allegations in the superseding indictment standing alone can no longer serve as the basis for Section 1512C2 liability under Fisher. That contention misunderstands the relevant inquiry, which is whether sufficient allegations provide, quote, a statement of the essential facts constituting the offense charged and adequately inform the defendant of the crime or crimes with which he is charged. The relevant question in Rule 12b motion is whether the allegations are sufficient to permit the jury to find that the crimes charged were committed. And for the reasons given in the preceding section, the superseding indictment easily clears that bar. The defendant also mischaracterizes the potential bases for Section 1512C2 liability charged in the superseding indictment, none of which the court need address at the motion to dismiss stage. For example, defendant posits that the superseding indictment seeks to impose liability under Section 1512 for his generalized obstruction of the certification standing alone, which he at 8, which he asserts is foreclosed under Fisher. In fact, as detailed above, the superseding indictment alleges that the defendant conspired, obstructed, and attempted to obstruct the certification proceeding through his efforts to impair electoral certificates, such as through his efforts to create and introduce false evidence, namely the fraudulent electoral certificates. The defendant also claims that absent an allegation that he engaged in incitement, direct calls to imminent lawless action, which in the defendant's view, the superseding indictment does not come close to alleging, he can bear no legal responsibility for the events on January 6. That is incorrect. As described above, the superseding indictment alleges that the defendant willfully caused others to violate Section 1512C2 when he, quote, repeated false claims of election fraud, gave false hope that the vice president might change the election outcome, and directed the crowd in front of him to go to the Capitol as a means to obstruct the certification. By pressuring the vice president and legislators to accept the fraudulent certificates for certain states in lieu of those states' legitimate certificates. Those allegations link the defendant's actions on January 6 directly to his efforts to corruptly obstruct the certification proceeding and establish the elements of a violation of Section 1512C2, which suffices to resolve the defendant's motion to dismiss on statutory grounds. Finally, the defendant's assertion that Fisher would not permit a certificate movement theory that relies on the, quote, incidental movement of documents from one room to another by functionaries ignores that under Fisher, conduct that attempts to intends to impair the availability of, quote, records, documents, or objects used in an official proceeding would violate Section 1512C2. The defendant's argument that his efforts to create and implement the fraudulent elector scheme does not allege a substantive or conspiracy violation of Section 1512C2 is flawed in several respects. Most basically, the defendant's argument rests entirely on his construction of an alternative narrative in which his conduct amounted to nothing more than advocacy in his entirely lawful debates regarding certificate objections by members of Congress on January 6. But that alternative narrative, including the defendant's proffer of extra record statements by legislators, merits no consideration at this stage, where the court's analysis is limited to reviewing the face of the superseding indictment. See Bingert. If contested facts surrounding the commission of an offense would be of any assistance in determining the validity of the motion, Rule 12 does not authorize its disposition before trial. In any event, facts developed at trial will conclusively demonstrate that the defendant's alternative narrative is inaccurate, describing the defendant's efforts to organize and cause his electors to submit fraudulent certificates to create the false appearance that certain states had submitted competing electoral slates, describing how the defendant willfully caused unlawful conduct on January 6 in order to pressure the vice president and legislators to reject legitimate certificates from certain states and instead accept and rely on fraudulent certificates, thereby obstructing the certification proceeding. Finally, the defendant's contention that his actions were consistent with the Electoral Count Act process rather than an obstruction to it fundamentally misunderstands both the process by which electoral votes are counted and certified under the Constitution and the ECA, and the fact that the incumbent president plays no role in that process. Fisher does not support dismissal of counts 1 and 4. The court should also deny the defendant's motion to dismiss to the extent it seeks dismissal of counts 1 and 4. Largely repeating faulty arguments from his previously filed motion to dismiss, the defendant briefly suggests that Fisher's logic fatally undermines counts 1 and 4. But the defendant nowhere explains how Fisher's interpretation of Section 1512C2 bears any relevance to the statutes charged in counts 1 and 4, let alone why Fisher's holding or rationale counsels in favor of dismissing those counts. Other than improperly seeking to mischaracterize his conduct in terms of other than the superseding indictment's allegations, suggesting that the conduct underlying count 4 amounted to public advocacy that was consistent with the historical practice and then the then existing version of the ECA, the defendant makes the blanket assertion that permitting counts 1 and 4 to survive would result in the sort of overbroad atextual interpretation that the Supreme Court rejected in Fisher. But as explained in the government's prior opposition, more than a century of decisions from the Supreme Court support the conspiracy to defraud charge in count 1, and a similarly long pedigree of decisional law underlies the conspiracy against rights charged in count 4. Footnote, the defendant's attempt to distinguish Reich supra on the ground that he assertedly acted consistently with the law in undertaking his obstructive conduct, whereas the defendant in Reich did not, is both procedurally improper because the only relevant facts on a motion to dismiss come from the superseding indictment, and inaccurate in light of the facts that will be adduced at trial. Let's see. So going back from this. A similarly long pedigree of decisional law underlies the conspiracy against rights charged in count 4, addressing statutory challenges to Section 241, explaining why the defendant's fair notice and historical challenges to Section 241 lack merit. Nothing in Fisher undermines that analysis. Finally, the defendant's underdeveloped suggestion that counts 1 and 4 should be dismissed because the superseding indictment does not allege that he acted corruptly for the purposes of Section 1512C2, and therefore fails to adequately allege the required mental states for violating Sections 371 or 241, is meritless for reasons given in the government's prior opposition, explaining how the original indictment sufficiently alleged that the defendant acted corruptly for purposes of Section 1512C2, and explaining why the indictment alleges a violation of Section 371, explaining why the indictment also alleges a violation of Section 241. Those arguments apply equally here. So do it. Don't fall for it, Judge. Don't fall for anything. The Keschel pillow crotch. Yeah, I gotta dig that out. Yummy. Yummy coffee. All right. I think we're going to wrap it there. We learned a lot today. Thank you for being so patient with me and my lateness and my little bit of discombobulated brain. Appreciate Gal, as always, for helping produce the show, really. I mean, I'm so grateful for everyone. Teresa, everyone who shares links. I'm so grateful because it just makes the show much more relevant. I mean, I curate some things, but I love it when my friends curate stuff because they're really on top of the information far more than I am. So thank you. Thanks, Gal. Thanks for that. Let's see. Today's Wednesday. I don't know if Jim's having a space. I think he's working on a lot of stuff. So we'll check in with him and see if he's having something. So I might see you tonight or hear you tonight. But if not, I'll definitely see you tomorrow morning on time. Mind you. I will be on time. Today was an aberration. I clearly didn't smoke enough weed. Okay. Will Corey get small enough to fit under? Well, let's see. Let's take a look at little Corey. Corey. Hey, Corey. Corey. Here we go. Let's move him over here. Wait, he could stay right here. He could stand on the Kraken. There we go. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, that's perfect, Carrie. You're welcome, Mask. Thank you. Thanks for coming, too. So nice to see you. Really nice to see you in this show. I learn new things. I learn new things, too. I learn new things every day with you guys, so I really appreciate it. That's really what this is all about. Media literacy. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Right. Yeah. So, I'll see you at 11. What am I talking about? I'll see you in a couple hours. Hello. Whatever. I'll see you in a couple hours. Don't worry about being late. Don't worry about if you have to miss it. I understand. But if you can join us in a couple of hours, please do. I've got a different thing set up for that. So please take a look and hit the bell, make it solid, and come back. Let's spend a little more time together today. Okay? Okay. All right. I will see you guys in a little bit. Again, thank you so much for coming. Thanks for sharing your morning with me. And I'm sorry I was late. It won't happen again. Well, it might happen again, but I'm going to try not to. Good. I'm good. I'm glad. I'm good. No, I'm glad. I'm glad. All right. No, I feel like we definitely covered some good stuff. Okay. I'll see you in a couple hours. Have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it happens to be for you. It's all good.